actions speak louder than words. And right now, people are just talking. I don't see a lot of action. Nobody does. And that's the fear.
Actions speak louder than words. Former New York Police Commissioner Bernie Kerik on this program yesterday, speaking out about the persecution of Christians and the lack of reaction within the international community. Welcome into this special 1-hour edition of America's Forum for this Tuesday. I'm J.D. Hayworth. With the continued persecution of Christians around the globe, a whole lot of people are asking, why isn't more being done to stop it? For more on this story, we're very pleased to be joined by one of my former colleagues on Capitol Hill, ex-Congressman Frank Wolf. The former congressman is a senior distinguished fellow at the 21st Century Wilberforce Institute, and he joins us live from Newsmax, Washington. Frank, we thank you for your time, and the barbaric nature of ISIS becomes more and more evident while they continue their killing. The response from the Christian world seems to be lacking. What needs to be done?
So much. One, the administration has been a failure. It's been a failure. The Congress passed a bill to set up a special envoy to advocate on this issue for Christians and other religious minorities in the Middle East. The administration has signed the bill but has not filled the spot. It's been empty for 6 months. Secondly, the Congress has to deal. What are they going to do with regard to ISIS? We are not winning. We are now actually losing. We are actually losing. Thirdly, the church, and I appreciate Pope Francis speaking out, also Cardinal Worrell and Cardinal Dolan and Russell Moore from the Southern Baptists and Rick Warren, they have. But overall, many in the church have been silent. Fourth, we need almost a major march on Washington to sort of shake up the political situation. Every church, every synagogue ought to have a service, a religious freedom service. Anti-Semitism is growing. You had the killing of Christians in Kenya. The administration wouldn't even use the word Christian. You had the killing of the Coptic Christians in Libya. They wouldn't use the word Christian. You had the throwing Christians overboard. So the church has to sort of rise up. It used to be that culture and politics was downstream from the pulpit. The pulpit now has to start speaking out. But frankly, the administration is failing, the Congress is failing, and the church needs to be vocal and speak out.
Well, speaking out is one thing. Frank, we've heard reports that there are Christian militias going into the Middle East to battle ISIS. Do you expect any nation state to take up this fight, or will it be small militia groups of Christians?
JD, we were there a month and a half ago. We were with some of the Christian militias. JD, they're not very well armed. They're committed, but some are 40 and 50 years old. Some are overweight. Some are just, they don't have the weapons and all. We, the United States government is not aiding the Peshmerga. The Peshmerga is the point of the spear against ISIS. They've lost over 1,000 people. We are not giving them aid. We were out with Peshmerga. The weapons are old. They just don't have the training, and yet they're still fighting. We, the United States government, are not aiding the Peshmerga. The Germans are, the Italians are, the French are, but we are not. There is so much that can be done, but in order to put pressure on this administration and also on the Congress, the church needs to rise up and speak out. This can be solved. We can defeat ISIS. We know how to defeat ISIS. But if we're not going to be involved, we're not going to defeat ISIS. And you know, more biblical activity took place in Iraq than any other country of the world. Abraham's from Iraq. Esther was from Iraq. Rebecca lived in Iraq. 12 tribes of Israel lived in Iraq. Daniel was buried in Iraq. They just blew up Jonah's tomb, and the world just sits by, and the church doesn't do very much either.
So you used to be on the Appropriations Committee in terms of devoting cash to causes for the benefit of our government and the American people. Do you have any message to Speaker Boehner, to Leader McConnell, to your fellow Republicans on Capitol Hill?
Yeah, hold hearings on this. Bring in some of the people to tell you. Bring in some of the very best minds. We can defeat ISIS. We know how to do it. But if we're not involved, if we're not calling in airstrikes, if we're not doing a lot of the things we're doing, we're literally allowing, in some respects, the Iranians to come in and join the Iraqis. We're almost providing airstrike, and a few times we do it for the Iranians. It's almost crazy. But yes, this should be a major issue where hearings are held. But the religious community in the United States has to speak out. Speak out against the persecution of Christians, the anti-Semitism. Speak out, and put pressure on the administration and on the Congress to do something. We can deal with it. We are losing, but the reason we're losing, JD, is because we're not participating. We're not trying to do anything about it.
And on that note, Frank Wolf, we thank you for speaking out. We appreciate your time this morning. As dismaying as that news is from Frank, there's exciting news to tell you about 1 week from today. 1 week from tonight, a new program, Newsmax Prime, premiering 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We'll be looking for you next Tuesday at that time.